Hey everybody, Jim from Jim's Coleus. It's that time of the year. Things are really starting to pick up now. I got my running shoes on. I'm going to try to keep up with these guys. I'm really looking to get them out in the greenhouse. I need to get them out there, but I'm not rushing. I'm looking at the forecast. Next week, I was planning on maybe next week. I'm here in New Jersey, and I'm looking at the forecast, and most of the days are well above 60s, some 70s, 50s. Night times, there's a few nights that are in like 42s and 40s. I'm going to shoot for probably the first week of May. That's technically the last frost date. What the last frost date is varies based on your growth zone. I'm in New Jersey. Usually the first week of May is the last frost date, which is basically a guide that tells you that there's a very, very low chance of frost if you're going to be putting plants out eventually. So anyway, I need to get my Coleus out of the greenhouse. Also, I want to start setting up my table outside, looking over my Coleus, and start planting pots because I really want to get them between 2 to 3 weeks. These Coleus that are pretty, that I've been potting, that have been in pots, should be pretty well established in roots as far as their roots in the nursery pots. And then that's when I look over all the pots that I have and I create my designer pots for the farmer's market. And that's when the growth really starts to take off. Then I'll start to harden them, put them out on the table, and water, fertilize them. So stay tuned here as we both progress, whether you're in a colder zone and I am. Eventually we will all be caught up and have a similar weather pattern. Not everybody, but as far as New Jersey weather goes, once we're well into the warm late spring, early summer weather, when we have our plants outside, things are starting to really pick up. We got mature plants, trimming, all that's going to be coming up. So take it slow, enjoy this, don't stress out. And I'm saying that for myself also. It'll take some time, but we have lots of fun ahead. And let's go take a look at my Coleus now. I got about 400 potted, and they look great, but they're still slow. Some of them are a little. Some of them are growing a little faster. Some varieties I found over the years grow faster than others. It's expected. It's not that we're doing anything wrong. It's just that's the nature of the beast. But it still hasn't been sustained warm weather. So the Coleus will sense that. Once we start getting sustained 70s, 80s, and that sun, the Coleus will really start to grow. So if you have smaller Coleus, they'll start to catch up. So, all right, so let's take a look at what I have right now and continue to watch. More to come. I can't wait to get outside. Okay, all right, so here we are. I got, what was that? 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 trays, between 17 and 18 pots per tray. 90% of the trays have 2 Coleus per pot, so that comes back a little close to 400. I didn't really do the math. I just threw it in my head real quick. Not that I'm that good at math, but here we are here in the back. You can see the color variety, and that's what I'm shooting for. Here's one of the first trays that I planted. And again, if you're following along, you know I repeat a lot of things for your benefit. But when you're growing a large amount of Coleus like this, or even if it's 25 and you're new to this, stagger them. When I sowed my Coleus seeds, I didn't sow them all in the same time. I staggered them out a few days, at least 3 or 4 days a week for 1 or 2 trays. That way, not all of the Coleus are coming the same size at the same time. And I do that because it buys me the time to get them out to the greenhouse where I have the space, and then these will really start to catch up, because at that point these will be pretty well grown and I'll already be into trimming, and I won't go crazy trying to maintain and trim all of these at the same time early on. But eventually I will, and that's where it gets a little tiring because it's just me, but the enjoyment I have of doing this makes it all worthwhile. So I don't look at it as a chore. It's something I enjoy and that I look forward to. And again, also the end game farmers market, my YouTube channel is giving back to Wounded Warriors USO. Everybody has their charities. I have Morris Animal Foundation for animal cancer. It's good to give, and it's what also motivates me. And of course, all of you who follow and my regulars who comment, and of course those of you who comment regularly, keeps me going, motivates me. So lots of color. Again, as I mentioned earlier, these are like a wizard rose, and they're very slow. And I grew these last year, and it was the same thing. These are the sort of they're just a very delicate, short stemmed, very delicate root system, and they just grow very slowly. So I'm going to keep an eye on them. I grew about 50. But other ones, the colossal marbles really take off. I mean, they are very aggressive, very hardy, and I get such a variety, either the green with the purple speckles, and I know I have a few that have purple with green speckles in here somewhere. A lot of color. There we go. Colossal marble. If you bought seeds from me on my eBay listing, I included colossal marble. I say 90% of the orders. I do mix them up a little bit, but I'll be offering them next year on my eBay listing. Again, I'll start listing in October. But oh, here's looks like a fishnet stocking, possibly. And somebody had mentioned about just plain green Coleus, and it happens. There's a plain green, but it's still early, so we're going to let that go. But in general, I don't keep a lot of the green. These are good for when you're creating pots. You want to throw a little color in the back. Just throw a couple of green ones in there. And as they grow, they may develop colored shoots. So I found that in the past. Again, here are those wizards, very slow, very slow. And these I just potted just a day or two ago. Look at that pink. So there's some jitters. You can tell it's jitters because see that red in the center? It's more of a slot that goes up the center axis of the leaf, as opposed to a wide area of color. So that's how I tell it jitters. They're short, they're sort of pointy and thin. Lots of beautiful color. And in my mind, I'm already, the creative juices are flowing already. I'm already thinking about what, what's going to go into what pot. I have all these different types of pots, hanging baskets, different size pots. I have large planters around my property. That's where all my rootings will be going. And I have planters all spread out because I have my seed sales, and I try to keep all of the plants separated so I get as close as possible. You get true leaves, and I think I've managed to do that pretty well. My scarlet, these are wizard scarlets. There are a couple of, there's rainbow, there's scarlet kongs, which are more like this, and then there's scarlet wizard scarlets. It's a little confusing, but kongs there's many sub varieties of kongs, but this is a Wizard Scarlet, which the Wizard Scarlets are the ones with the larger purple center area with a thinner green border. And the Scarlet Kongs are more almost sort of like the Empire Kongs, where they have the purple in the center, but it's scattered out more, and it might have a little white or like shading. It's sparse. So if you're not really sure, do an internet search. Type in Scarlet Kongs, Wizard Scarlets, and you'll see the difference. But you know what? That's okay. They're all beautiful in the end. Let's go over here. These are so tiny. And again, it's sunny out, but it's a little cool breeze coming in off the ocean. So I don't have them, I'm not hardening them today. These are absolutely too small, but even those larger ones over there, I won't be putting anything out to harden today because it's a little too chilly and I just don't want to kill them. I don't want to damage them to the point, like I mentioned in the last video, where I'll lose leaves and it just sets me back. So being patient, learning from our mistakes, just like NASA. I'm into NASA, I'm telescopes and space, and Elon Musk, if you follow him, all the technology and so forth, going to the moon, Mars, etc., etc. The only way they learn to do this is by learning is from mistakes. Blowing up rockets and so forth, that's how we learn. So not to get off on a tangent here, but I've learned a lot from my mistakes, and you will too. And don't feel bad if you make mistakes, because that's how you make it. That's how you do better. So okay, so keep doing what you're doing. These pots have worm castings mixed in with the Miracle Grow moisture potting mixture. If you're new here, I have some Osmocote, indoor outdoor time release fertilizer pellets, just a tad mixed in, and that waters. That will feed as you water, just a little bit, and then as the season progresses, once we get them outside and so forth, and if you're following along, please do. Then I'll start to switch over to the Miracle Grow water soluble general purpose plant food, which really feeds the roots deeply, and that's where the magic happens. There's Newton's cousin, Beauregard, or Bobo. He's some watchdog. He's a good watchdog, but we miss Newton. So also I'm out here. This is really the last of the main crop that I'm going to pot today. We're going to finish that up. I got some potting mixture with worm castings mixed in. Those of you wondering, as you continue to listen to Bobo, what moisture control potting mixture is, you can see the little white speckles. That's like a vermiculite. It's almost like a foam material, and it actually, when you water your plants, it absorbs the water, it holds on to the water, and as the surrounding soil dries out, it releases water into the soil, and the roots will be able to take moisture out of that. So that's how it kind of releases and holds water, so you don't overwater and underwater, because it'll absorb if you put too much water, within reason. I mean, you can't flood these, but that's what moisture control potting mixture is. And why it's I really advise, if you really want the most from your plants, is get good quality potting soil with the moisture control or the green bag, the Miracle Grow. It really makes a difference. And here is my double pot, and we're gonna kind of plan what we're gonna put in there this year, so stay tuned. Okay, so keep doing what you're doing. Any questions at all, contact me here, YouTube or Instagram. Lots of photos. I'm getting a lot of responses from some good friends. Mark Hubert again over in England. You're killing it. You're growing your Coleus. Sound like you got a nice program ahead. Selling some Coleus over in England. My babies. You're doing really well, Mark. Really proud of you. Again, lots of people are always checking in. Brooklyn, you're my girl. Clemmy's doing fine, Brooklyn. Clemmy's by the door, getting lots of light. Still a little chilly to go outside. Brooklyn's my friend in Canada, and she's a fabulous Coleus girl and plant girl. She knows more than I do, that's for sure. She's helping me with my clementine tree. So lots of friends. That's what really motivates me too, is the great people I meet, that I get in contact with regular. Bonnie, there's just so many. Pat, over the years, my God, I can't thank you enough for all the little tips you've given me. Jesnet over in, I believe you're in Sweden. Lots of friends. Rico over in Germany. Another Jim's Holiest Coleus friend. And I can go on and on. A lot of people all over the world following. So if you don't follow Jim's Holiest Coleus and you love Coleus or you want to learn Coleus, please subscribe, follow along. I really make it easy. And you can grow these. They're so easy. And even if you don't want to grow them from seed, you don't have to. Buy them. You can buy them at a nursery. Go to a nursery. Do you have Coleus? And they'll point you to their Coleus. Or I have there's other ways to buy Coleus. And if you're really interested, just shoot me a message. And I have a couple of references that can get you into Coleus. Live Coleus plugs, Rosie Dawn Gardens, and so forth. So shoot me a message and I'll steer you in. So you don't have to go through this if you don't want to. You can just buy a store-bought Coleus, follow along, and I'll help you make the most of it and some other tricks to make it really interesting. So, all right, so thanks for watching Jim's Holiest Coleus. Stay tuned. There's always going to be more. We're going to be keeping pretty active. Take care, everybody.